Kyle goddamn Rittenhouse. Praise the Lord. Can I get a hallelujah for that little boy with the cherubic cheeks and the plump little face of his and the pumpkin eyes and the angelic. I don't know. He's a good boy. He's technically an adult. I don't know. I'm just glad that the jury made the right decision. I mean, this is week old news, but it's just, I don't know. I'm just happy that a dude that I don't know got away with killing people that I also don't care about. Those people that got killed, I'm not going to say murdered because that would be he could sue me for saying that. That's not the case. He didn't murder anybody. He was tried for murder, and the jury decided that's not murder. He defended his life with a gun. It's like, oh, I'm sorry that it happened to be with a gun. But you could do that. If somebody's coming at you violently and they're like, I don't know the full details, but one of them also had a gun. So that dude, Kyle Rittenhouse, survived a violent situation by pulling the trigger on a bunch of animals who deserved to be shot. Which, hey, I don't take pleasure in saying somebody deserves to be killed. But some people deserve to be killed if they're doing something that makes them deserve to be killed. I sound redundant right now because I am. I'm being the echo that you're hearing is not like an effect or anything. It's because I'm doing this in my living room and I got no acoustic treatment to absorb the echo. It's good for karaoke, but we're not doing that today. So anyway, the point is, like, just always have a gun on you if you're going to a protest. If you're going to a BLM protest, which you should never do. Kyle, I'm just going to use his first name. Kyle was a dumb ass for supporting BLM. Like, okay, that's one thing, like going to the protest to see what it's all about. I even kind of thought about doing that, but to support it, he supports BLM. Yeah, I mean, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to judge him for that. I mean, but I don't support that organization. Fuck them. I strongly do not endorse that communist pile of garbage movement, and anyone who does is just misled and just hasn't done their research on it. It's a propaganda group, and you should all feel dumb for. No, I'm just I'm in a worked up mood right now because I have 1%er problems. I have rich person problems. I have all these like monetary obligations, and people just judge me for having a tiny bit more money than them. So they go, well, you could afford it. Why are you worried about spending money? You could afford. Fuck you. Just because I can afford something doesn't mean it's fun to get ripped off. Dude, if anything, I'm more Jewish than I ever have been in my whole life. Because like when you don't have that much, when you're just like, okay, when you are used to spending all the money that you have, you don't really, it's like, okay, I would have spent it anyway, and I'm just going to get my next paycheck in a couple weeks, and then I'll have more. It's different when you actually have enough where you want to keep it because your ego depends on it. Like, God forbid I lose all my money and I have to, like, get a job or something. I mean, so when people Jew me, and I'm using that term angrily because I hate when people rip me off. Like I was talking about the shotgun thing that happened a couple weeks ago. I just was like, oh, this is me learning. This is me that has this problem, and I'm learning it the hard. Like nobody else is to blame except for the aggressive salesman who talked me into getting a shotgun that I wasn't prepared, totally. I was still thinking about. I was like, yeah, that is the specific shotgun I want, but I don't need to get it here. I could get it online. But if it's here, okay. And it was not a good deal, dude. So he talked to me. He was like, he was such an amateur, but I was like being so generous to his aggression because I do that. I like to be supportive of other people's goals. So I was like, yeah, I guess I'll buy it because you seem to be very enthusiastic about it. He was like, it's normal for people in Texas to go home with more than one gun. It's like, yeah, great. So that means I'm gonna, because I want to be a cool, just like to stroke his dick. I did that. I bought the shotgun for an exorbitant price. Who would buy a used shotgun? It's like, do I want something that there's already like residue from? No, I want it to be brand new, like a car, which I will get into later. Geez, we got a lot to talk about. It's been a fun week for me. I'm just angry, and this is how I get my anger out. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Get therapy? What am I gonna do? Go to a support group of like, hey, let's go here. It's a meetup group for angry men to just spout off all the shit that they're angry about. Only for men though, because obviously what we're biggest thing we're talking about, the biggest thing that we're angry about is obviously women. They have those for women. It's called pregnancy. No, I don't know. Church? No. I'm gonna join a gun club and never talk about guns. I'm just gonna be like, fuck feminism. Kyle Rittenhouse just mumble, just ramble about how I like the Second Amendment and how I'm a sovereign citizen and how I have a faster car than police. So I could just, hey, I'll be fine. They could set up like a strip, one of those rumble strip things that stop your, that slash your tires. Okay, so I'm not immune to cops. I'm not immune to, it's not Grand Theft Auto where you could just get on the train and just stay with 5 stars, most wanted, indefinitely and just never get shot. It's not real life. It's very easy to get killed by police. And I almost said murdered. But when you think about it, the cops don't really murder that many people. Except for when they do. And we all know about that. We know when cops murder people because that's what BLM is for. Like they even cared about when people don't get, even when the court decides that somebody was not murdered, BLM still acts as if they were. And I'm really happy for Kyle that he's going to be making a shitload of money from defamation. And I think there's something to be said about chasing defamation lawsuits. Lots of great opportunity there. And I'm trying to become successful at that at some point in my life by baiting people into saying stuff that's not true. And then I'll just go after them. Hey, it's not illegal to be litigious. It just makes you look like an asshole. And I already am. So I got nothing. What am I? Oh, I'm going to be looked at as a worse asshole than I already am. It's like, once you're called an asshole, you're already an asshole. It's like, oh, I'm a level 10 asshole. It's like, yeah, there's always a worse asshole in the world. So like I stay in my lane when I'm driving. I don't like I don't drive right behind people like everyone else, like 70% of people in Texas do in pickup trucks, which I'm going to talk about on every episode until I'm dead. I hate people who don't know how to drive respectfully. It's like, dude, you better have good insurance, because if I just slightly tap on my brake, you're going to rear end me, and it's on camera. I got your license plate. What are you going to do? Become a fugitive over a freaking rear end collision? It's not. Now I got to chase you. Now I got to track you down like I got to hire a private investigator, because the cops aren't going to care. And then you're going to have to, hopefully you have good insurance is the point. Because if you don't, and that's what sucks about having a nice car. And I hate, I'm not using that term subjectively. It's an expensive car. That's what I mean by nice. I don't really care if other people think it's nice. Can they afford it? No. That's what I mean by that word. It's expensive as fuck. And so it's too expensive for me even. And then look at me. I'm a Jew. I'm a half Jew. So like that's like obviously there's a stereotype that Jews are cheap. I am not cheap, but I don't like being ripped off. So I have the money to buy the shit I want, and I have the Italian side of me where I actually appreciate nice cars. Like, oh, sue me. Actually, don't sue me. That would suck. I don't want to get sued. I think that's really like the worst thing that people get paranoid about who have money is just getting sued. Like some people like Elon Musk has so much money that you really have to have a lot of money to beat him, because he has just so much money that he's impenetrable. He's bulletproof because he has enough money to pay the lawyers, and then he could countersue, and so any money that he spent will just come back. I don't know. It's probably not. It's just he lives in such an idealized reality based on the fact that he has virtually unlimited money, and that's why he talks shit on Twitter, and that's why I'm following in his footsteps. And that's what anyone does when they don't have a boss. It's called being based. And not a lot of people know what that word actually means in today's nomenclature, and like today's society. Like people say based all the time, like online. It's like, ooh, based, when they like something that somebody said. But that's, sure, it has a wide meaning. It just means, oh, you said something I agree with. Big whoop. What it actually means on an autistic level is debased. It's short for debased. It's slang, short for debased, which means that you have no base. You're not attached to any camp. You're not in a cult of ideology, and you're willing to say whatever is right, just whatever is the actual truth of the situation, because you're debased. You're based. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not actually what it means, but I don't care. That's how I use it, and that's what Elon is. That's what I am. I'm based. I say what I want, because what's going to happen? Yeah, don't defame anybody, but I'm not a lawyer. And I hate when lawyers give people advice when they're not in a client relationship with them. It's like, dude, you don't have to show off that you're a lawyer by telling me not to talk shit. It's like, I know. It's like, what are you going to defend? Are you willing to defend me? Well, then shut up. It's like, if you're going to tell me not to do something, at least stick to your, at least like show up to court if I follow your instructions. Of course, I'm not I like lawyers when they're on my team. I hate lawyers when they're not on my team, dude. I hired a lawyer once, like a year ago, and he immediately, I could tell he was the wrong lawyer because he didn't agree with everything I said. It's like, of course you're not going to want to work with a lawyer that tells you you're wrong. It's like, no, tell me I could get away with this. What am I paying you for? It's like, no, I want a lawyer who tells me, oh, it'll be okay. Dude, you did nothing wrong. You did nothing wrong by drinking and driving into a ditch and just running away. You did the exact right. Dude, I know tons of people who do that like every day, every weekend. That's the type of lawyer I want. Like, yeah, this lawyer, he was like, oh yeah, you're going to have to do this and this. It's like, no, I won't. Just fuck off. I'm going to get a different lawyer. And that's what I did. I for some reason, I just had this gut feeling that he just didn't know what he was talking about. And I think I have a good bullshit detector where even if I know I'm being lied to, sometimes I just go along with it because it's who wants confrontation? Who likes confrontation? I guess sometimes I do when I'm doing No Nut November, which I freaking am. It's day 24 of No Nut November. It's almost done. Doesn't mean I'm going to stop. I'm never jerking off again for all I care. For all I know, there's no reason to, because then you just want to do it again like 4 hours later because there's nothing else to do. It's not like I have a job. It's it's not like I'm going to get anyone else to suck it, to do anything with me sexually unless I hire somebody like a professional, which I'm not, like, I don't have anything against that. I'm just not there yet. I was thinking about it because like I go on not OkCupid. I go on everything. But I go on this one specifically called Plenty of Fish, and it's actually just a bunch of whores and sex workers and some real people, it turns out. So it's kind of funny that you could meet either a whore or your wife on the same app. So it actually is a really good app. It's the UI is really bad. It's horribly bad. It's a bad designed app. It's slow. But the fact that if you're sexually frustrated from real women not getting back to you, you could just swipe right on a Snapchat girl, and a lot of them are just straight up prostitutes. And it's nice that it's a great app overall. It's good. I'm not gonna say great. It's okay. If it was great, we'd all know it. We'd all be using it. I mean, obviously, it's not great. But I'm on all of the dating apps because when you're not doing the self-fulfilling, deed called, November, you just want to get out there. You have this pent-up rage. Obviously, that's not going anywhere. So you start talking to people. You start craving connection. There's many differences that happen when you start not jerking off. You stay up later. It's super hard to get to sleep. You have more energy, more focus. You're more talkative. You're more social. And you just want that attention from women, and you just try to get it. You pay money for it. These dating apps, if you're actually like seriously trying to do something, you gotta pay. Unless you're a hot chick with a 10-year-old picture, which a lot of them. Don't get me started. Well, don't get me started. We only have an hour. We only have an unlimited amount of time, and I'm not gonna. So you have to spend money. So I've spent like a good amount of money on all of them. Tinder is garbage because I'm in my 30s, and I think people just see that I'm in my 30s and they just go, nah, too old. Because it is kind of a younger focused app. When I was like 29, getting matches was easy, and I have the same pictures almost. I mean, see, that's the thing. You don't want to use old pictures because that's kind of misleading. On Plenty of Fucking Whores, my favorite one, there's a lot of women who are in their 30s or mid 30s that have pictures of them that are clearly like 10, 15 years old. And I call them, I talked to this one who I was like, she was giving me the she had zero personality. So I just assumed she was a bot. Like there's a lot of bots. So I was like, you're not real. There's no way someone with that picture would be on Plenty of Fish. But then it's just hard to tell the difference between a bot or somebody with no personality. It's like, how could they're indistinguishable unless they, if they ask for a Snapchat, if they say, talk to me on Snapchat, that means they're fake, or they're just somebody who wants to get you to sign up for their OnlyFans, which I'm not a simp. So I just go, yeah, I'm not a simp. Sorry, move on. But this one chick was real, I guess. Like her picture, I guess, was of her, but it was like a 10-year-old picture. I was like, there's no way you still look like that. Can you upload another picture? She was like, okay. And then an hour later, her profile just disappears. I don't know. I don't think she blocked me, because it would have said, this person has blocked you. No, she disappeared. So I kind of intimidated her from the dating atmosphere, out of the dating world, by calling her, because I don't care what she looks like now. I don't, like, obviously I have realistic expectations. If you're 35, you're not going to have an ass that tight. You're not going to have a body that looks like that. And I told her, it's like, dude, if you look like that, you could date a football player effortlessly. You don't need to be on here. She was like, yeah, I know I could date a football player. I was like, yeah, but the thing is that you don't look like that. So I'm not giving you a compliment. I'm saying you need to upload another picture for me to be interested, for me to pursue you. And she didn't, because of course she's insecure with her current looks. Because I don't care if you look your age. I look my age if you look close. From far away, I look like a child. And I'm sick of people thinking I'm in my 20s or 18 or whatever. It's like, hey, how old are you, if you don't mind me? I'm 32. It's like, oh. It's like, yeah, some people are just short, it turns out. It's like, yes, it's possible to be a small person, but still, you don't die. Like, there's such a thing as short people. We don't die when we hit our 30s. We do exist even into our 30s and 40s. And some of us have genetics that allow us to still look kind of young. But hey, if I smile, I have crow's feet. So I actually am aging graceful, like, not gracefully, but in time. Like, so I'm pissed. And so I matched on somebody with somebody on eHarmony. It's another one. I seek out the most conservative-friendly dating apps because I want to date a conservative, traditional woman who's not gonna bust my balls about how the patriarchy is ruining her life. Because whether that's true or not, I don't want to hear about it. I don't care. The patriarchy? Okay, I happen to support the patriarchy. I'm sorry. So give me somebody who's on board with that, okay? So I'm on eHarmony, which does have, I guess a lot of Jesus lovers and conservative women. And they're very simple and easy to predict. They all are either one way or the other. Either you're conservative or feminist. There's no in, but there's some moderate women. There's some apolitical women, and those are probably the one thing. That's the number one thing I would want, is just an apolitical woman submissive and you know, doesn't bust my balls and lives in a different house. Because this one's mine. Sorry. So I matched with this woman on eHarmony, and we were talking very low the most understimulating person I've ever communicated with. So I unmatched with her, but I did let her go because she wasn't attractive. Like I'm just the type of person who was like, hey, looks aren't everything. I'll give somebody a chance to charm me or for me to charm them if they have the personality that I'm into. This person didn't. This person, when I asked what she was interested in, what she did for fun, she said word searches. That was one of her hobbies. Word searches, like the thing in the newspaper where you circle words that are in a straight line or a horizontal line or a diagonal. Like seriously, that was one of the things she said she does as a hobby, and I didn't unmatch with her after. I was like floored that somebody existed that could be that boring. So I stuck with her. I was fascinated, and I was like, wait. You mean the thing I did as a kid, but got bored of because it's too easy? And I was like, well, hey, I'm not judging you. I'm more of a jumble guy myself, but hey, you know. And she didn't even like say anything to that. She was just like, okay, do you like movies? And I was like, nah, I mean, most people like movies. I like some movies. I was like, yeah, I don't really go out to see movies ever. Honestly, I can't even really finish a movie. I was very honest. And she was like, well, what are some of the movies you can finish? And I was like, No Country for Old Men, Lord of the Rings. And she just said nothing. She was like, okay. So, and then she said, I don't know. I don't remember because there's nothing to remember. I was trying to literally find anything that I could say that we had something to go on, to connect with. Nothing. Zip. But I gave her like 4 days of chancing, and she kept trying. She kept saying, "Okay, how was your day today?" I was like, "It was pretty good. You know, I did this." And she just says, "Okay, dude." And then she said she was like into horses, like super into horses. Every picture was her on a horse with a T-shirt that said, "I like horses." They're like, okay, so she's got at least one thing that she's passionate about. And I asked her, you know, so do you own any horses? She said, no, you go to the stable and ride them there. And I almost replied, you're saying I do? No, I own 4 horses. Speak for yourself. I was asking if you own any. I almost said that, but that would obviously be a rude thing to say to somebody trying to date. Because I am kind of a troll. I do like to troll people just for fun. Like, it's so fun to go on Hinge and just, you know, like a picture and go and say something ridiculous. Like, you know, Trump 2020 or something like that. And see what happens. And one of them actually did respond positive. They were like, ah. And then I followed, and she said, follow me on Snapchat. And then that was the end of it. And I actually did follow her on Snapchat. I followed her. I friended her. I was like, so what do you think of the Rittenhouse thing? And she was like, she didn't reply. She was just like, hello, what's up? I was like, did you not see the question? I just asked you a question. What do you think of the Rittenhouse thing? She was like, what city? Where are you in the city? I was like, what? What? You're asking me where I am before you even get to know me at all? She was like, yes, what is your location? And then that's when I was like, okay, fuck bots. That's what I said. I said, bots are gay. Goodbye. And then I think she wasn't a bot. I think she was just a very boring person who had no personality. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to distinguish between Indian scammers and regular white basic bitches, dude. And I have nothing against basic bitches. That's a derogatory term. But I kind of like, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with basic bitches, and she was one of them. So that's not the reason I unmatched with her, just because I thought she was a robot. Yeah, these days, like, so plenty of shit. That's my opening line. I'm sorry, I hate the small talk. It's like, so hi, hello, how are you? What do you do? Oh, I see that you don't have a car, but you live in Houston, Texas, the most car-centric city in the world. How the hell do you live? Like, oh, I just take a bunch of cities and, buses and taxis. It's like, okay, well, at least that's an opening line. Besides, so how are you? What do you do? What are you on here for? I hate small talk. And to accelerate the dating process, I've been just asking people what they think of the Rittenhouse verdict. And I think that's like a pretty brilliant move, because it just gets you through the bullshit, and it weeds out all the feminist, leftist bigots that just don't know anything about the law or the Constitution or self-defense or reality or anything like that. They just go by whatever some angry college professor spouted off to them who couldn't get laid themselves. Hey, I could get laid. It would just be with a fat person. And so I don't do that. But obviously there's a lot of people that would fuck me, like, that would date me or whatever in 2 seconds if I just was open to that. But hey, I'm not into that. I'm not, even if I was like super desperate. It's like, nah, I'd rather just jerk off in a sock. As mean as that is, it's just like, well, hey, you could say the same thing to women who don't like short men. It's like, well, okay, they are very open about not wanting to date a short man. So hey, there's a flip side to that, and like, hey, at least, I have no control over my height, and I'm fine with being small. You could fit in small cars and be nimble. It's kind of bad. It's kind of great being small. You live longer, and when you do get laid, it's more fun because you're not just fucking this doll that's smaller than you that you could just throw around. Who wants to fuck a sock puppet? It's like, not me. I already was doing that. I already do that. I want to fuck something that's at least as big as me, because then it feels, like it's just a better experience than just like, okay, I'm going to fuck this thimble of a person that I could just launch up and down. It's like, that seems like it would get old, and I'd be worried about hurting them and like laying on them or like putting my weight on them. Like all it takes is rolling over in your sleep, and you just broke the person's rib cage. It's like, okay, okay, that's what you're looking for. But I get it. I would, if I was a woman, I would totally want a big dude. I would want a tall guy, because it's, of course, you want to feel like you have somebody to rely on for protection. It's the female equivalent. It's the equivalent of a gun for men. Men want a gun for protection, because what are we going to do? Fist fight? Yeah. Some people, if you're like that much of a alpha male, you just go, I don't need a gun, I'm just gonna fist. But no, pussies need fucking weapons, obviously. There's a notification. Oh, I just reached my fitness goal by talking animated. Italians, see, we talk with their hands. I just burnt 40 calories in the past 10 minutes by complaining about dating sites. And I think that's it, though. That's about it. There's a lot of people with shitty personalities, and it's like, oh, so you're not, you're hot, I get, like, you're attractive, I guess, but you have no personality. What am I going to do with that? What am I going to do with that? But I get it. And pussies need protection, because I'm never going to become 6'10" unless Elon Musk invents a new technology. But even then, it would probably be like, it's too new, it's in beta test, dude. It has a lot of bugs. I'm fine with my stature, because, hey, I got the personality of an Olympic gold medalist right here. So I don't really, I'm already compensated for the shortness. I got everything I need, and pussies need protection. That's what guns are for. I used to think I was sexist for saying all this. Like, I used to think because I say what I think, and that a lot of that, some of that is criticism towards the opposite gender. And I thought that made me I was starting to be like, hey, I guess I am kind of a misogynist. But then I started talking to people in different countries, and I was like, oh no, it's just American women are stupid, and they have like really dumb opinions, and all I'm doing is noticing and commenting and observing that fact. So I'm not the asshole in this situation. I'm just I'm just the person who has the balls to speak my mind, because I'm already not getting lit. I'm already an incel. What are you gonna do? Make me? I'm already that. It's like I was saying with the asshole thing. Oh, now I'm a level 10 incel because I can't get with any women. Even the fat ones hate me, which would never happen. It would never happen, dude. You could be the most racist, bigoted, sexist slob, and there's still always going to be somebody that wants to fuck you if you look like me. If you look like me, that's the asterisk. So I'm not sexist, I found out, anymore, which is always a good thing to know. It's always a good thing to find out about yourself. It's like, oh, so I don't have to feel bad about whenever someone calls me that. I could just be like, no, it's just that I could go there. No, it's just that you're not Filipino. Because they actually like America. Like Filipino women, they love America. I mean, I don't know, not all, I don't know. The ones I've talked to so far, I asked them, I was like, so what do you think of America? And they're like, I think it's an independent country. And I was like, do you mean that as a good thing? And they said, well, I think it means that they don't have to depend on other countries. Like if they get into a jam, if they get in trouble, they could just get out of the issue themselves. And I was like, damn, yeah, that's a good point. That's a smart opinion. And she was like, oh, thank you. So she had no bias towards America. She just spoke what came to her. She thought for herself. What a miracle. She didn't conform to what other people tell her to believe. And I find that kind of attractive. I'm not going to fly her over. Like, I'm not going to go to visit Manila. You know what? I've seen the episode. I've seen Big Ed go to the Philippines and hated it. He hated it, dude, and I don't blame him. I would hate it too if I'm used to all these comforts of Western. It's beautiful. It's freaking great having a house that doesn't leak and it doesn't have exposed wires, and that woman using him just because he has money and she gives him attitude. He was so happy to be there, and he's like asking her questions like, so damn, it's rainy out. And she said, yes, it's rainy season. Like, she was very dry. And he was like, okay. Like, there was no romance in that encounter. So obviously I'm not going to actually like go to the Philippines. You got to learn from Big Ed. But also he was kind of a jerk in many ways too. He was kind of a dick. And so am I. So I just have to like vet them properly, like FaceTime them. I don't even think he like did anything sexual with her. I don't know. Maybe I don't remember. Maybe they did. Like at least get something out of it. But the point is Western culture has this ideology that's being pushed onto women and men. But it's only the cucks that march along with the feminist beat. It's only these pussy, premature, diddly squat, you could just break them just by looking at them the wrong way. And they got pale skin. And they got, just these weak jawlines. And they just go, yeah, I'm a male feminist, sure. I go, sure, as long as I get something out, as long as I don't get scorned by women, then I will just definitely call myself that. But you can't blame them. I mean, if they're weak and they don't, like being scorned by women, yeah, it's pretty painful if you give a shit about those specific women. If somebody says something, like if a woman like he says something mean to me, I just go, oh, maybe I did something to hurt you for you to say, or you're just a mean person, and I just move on. It's like, okay, there's mean people in the world, but I don't take that to mean that all women are hateful or that I did something wrong to all women. No, just that one doesn't like me, and millions more. But so what? That's why it's called Plenty of Fish, is because there's like so many, there's endless, dime a dozen. And yeah, you can't be a freaking simp, dude. Like if you see, why would you spend so much effort trying to get the attention and approval of a woman that works at a grocery store? It's like, oh, I hope she responds. The person who works at a grocery store and has nothing going on and doesn't even own a car. Oh man, how do I get her to take me in? It's like, what a pussy move, dude. It's like there's literally billions of women out there that would be worth pursuing. And that brings me back to why I ask about heated political debates as the opening line, to weed them out, dude, because I know what I got. I know my value. I'm the white Kevin Samuels, and like, he's my hero. I want to be him, dude. I just want to be that guy that just looks into the camera with disapproval, just shaking his head for half the stream. Like, that's all he does. He streams for like 3 hours a day, and you could just tune in at any given time. He'll just be looking at his camera, just, god dang, like that's it. That's most of the stream, just him shaking his head at the failure of women, specific ones that call in. They go, he's like, are you crazy? You think a man is gonna want you? So that's just something to be taken. That's why he's so popular, is because he's speaking the truth that a lot of people are just terrified to say because they have jobs and they don't want to get talked shit about. God forbid somebody calls you a misogynist and you have to quit your job because you said something true. So it's great to be in a position where I can speak my mind, and because there is a value in what he's doing. There's a value in what feminists are doing, I imagine. I can't think of a single example. I'm just trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, because there's some smart feminists. Not all feminists are smart, but all smart people are not. Never mind. I can't think of a thing on the spot to say that's smart. But Jordan Peterson, I'll just refer to him on this subject, or any subject for that matter, because he's smarter than me. Appeal to authority. That's what I do. That's what I do. I mean, the global warming thing, like, yeah, that's real. The Earth is definitely getting warmer. But what the hell are we going to do about that? Like, we're just going to stop using phones? We're just going to stop emitting carbon, whatever, CO2? It's like, probably not. And also, it's other countries that are doing it more than us. So, okay, so we have to tell them to stop, and we have to stop and solve it ourselves. So, whew, man. It's sad that that's happening, and like fracking, that does cause environmental damage, I think. But we got to do it because we need the oil. We need the gas. Like, what are we just going to walk everywhere? Elon Musk is the godfather of Dogecoin, and he's the one who's leading the most valuable car manufacturer in the world. And I guess Tesla is doing something to reduce CO2 emissions. But I'm not doing that just because I drive a Tesla. I don't give a I don't give a shit, dude. So Southeast Asians, they're based. If there's anything you get from this episode, that's what you should get. Is if you're too frustrated with Western women, just go a little bit east until you hit gold, because they are smart over, and it's a low bar. Obviously, this is a low standard that's very easy to jump over. It's a low hurdle. It's like, just don't be brainwashed. That's it. For me to pursue you, just don't be brainwashed. Pretty sad what we're doing and what's happening in this country right now and all of Western culture. It's like, I used to host an open mic. Thank God I don't anymore, because why would anybody want to do that except to have power over losers that are depressed anyway? It's like, oh, you get to tell somebody if they could do your open mic and set the order of the list. It's like, okay, you're a hero for doing that. For being the shepherd of depressed, narcissistic, autistic. I should have just put an S at the end of that. Just autistics. That's most comedy. That's most open micers. So I used to host an open mic, and like, there's some people that would come in and just talk shit about men instead of doing comedy, which was the point of it. And I didn't, what am I going to do? I'm not going to ban them like a petty jerk would do. I would just be like, yeah, that was sad. Like, I wouldn't really say anything. I would just move on. It's not even worth addressing. It's not worth trying to slam dunk them, like make like a joke about, make an insulting remark or whatever, like how a lot of hosts do when they're hosting. A lot of open mic hosts like try to be witty and like talk shit about the comic that just went up after it's too late for them to retort with it. It's like, that's a low brow move. No, the better thing to do is just be the bigger person and just move on. Don't address it. But if I were to address it, all I would say is, that was sad. It's a sad thing that's happening in this country. Okay, next comic coming to the stage. Just start clapping now for this next guy. And just try to be positive, dudes, because, what are you doing it for if you're just going to be negative? It's like, I run an open mic to be a dick. It's like, good for you. You're lighting the world on fire. Because sometimes you're in a bad mood if you're running an open mic because nobody cares about you. You're just the host. So if the crowd is being bad, which is likely to be the case, there's such a thing as bad crowds. It sometimes does get to you, and some, it's like, hey, what am I doing this for? I don't know. It's good to be polite to people, but then there's these open micers that they have this hair trigger reaction for when they get bumped or when they don't understand the sign-up rules, and you tell them, like, dude, You're not supposed to sign up, and that's a reserve. That's where somebody else is going to go there, and so we're going to put you down here. And then they go, what? And then they get mad. It's like, dude, I don't have to do that. I'm a volunteer. I'm not getting paid to watch you not succeed at something that is always going to be a hobby. So can you, like, I don't know, understand that everybody has been new at this? Like, you're new. I was new once. Thank God I'm not. I am new in Austin for comedy. It's a perpetual state that I will always be in. I will always be a new comic in Austin, Texas, because I don't plan on ever consistently going out. I just don't give a fuck about becoming a part of this scene. I don't want to be one of the guys. I don't want to be a darling. I don't want to be like, hey, what's up, dude? High five, dude. Oh, look who just walked in. It's Tim Weichselbaum, the legend of this particular comedy scene, and nobody else knows him anywhere else. That is something I already know what that feels like, and it's nothing. All it does is stroke your ego, and it's unrealistic to have your ego stroke that way. It's bullshit. So I'm always gonna just be some dude. And also, my life is too good right now to do open mics. The only time I want to do an open mic is if something really bad happens, like if I get broken up with or something like that, dude. So I just have other hobbies like this, and you're not gonna get anywhere doing open mics. Like, I'm sorry. You will get funnier, hopefully. You'll figure out, like, what works, like your little movements that you make, your little faces that you make, material, you test out material. But usually even that, it's not good. Even that, it's not good for... Nobody's going to laugh at rehearsed material at an open mic. That's not... They're just not. To kill at an open mic, you have to be a weirdo. And you have to. So what I got out of them is the physical comedy, like learning how to deliver a punchline. The material that is better to be worked on at shows, because then you will get an actual audience and you'll get instant feedback on every single punchline. You'll be like, oh, okay, that needs to be worked on. But open mics, man, those are just for beginners. And I'm not saying I'm above them. God, I'm too good for that. No, it's just that right now I don't see the point. And also, getting booked is like, people are obsessed. If you're a comedian, if you're an amateur comedian, it's all about, I need to get booked so I could show off on my social medias that I have a bunch of shows coming up, and then look at me. Those other people will be jealous. It's like, okay, good for you. I'm impressed that you convinced people to do time on a dumb show that no one's gonna remember in 2 weeks. Nobody gives a fuck if you get booked. It's like, yeah, the people that also want to get booked. Aside from that, it's like, okay, are you famous? Are you funny? No? Oh, then you're just wasting my time. There's a lot, like, having a full calendar of gigs, that doesn't mean you're funny. Like, I'm sorry that this is I know so many comics, or I used to. I don't really know that many comics. I don't keep in touch with that many, but there's so many comics that would have a full calendar of bookings of gigs, and they would list them all on their Facebook, like anyone gives a fuck. And then meanwhile, you see them at a show, and they're horrible. So there's, if you want, like, that's not important. That's not valuable to me. Funniness is what I value. I don't care how many followers you have. If anything, the less followers you have, the better, because that means you're probably still hungry. And if you're funny, then you're a diamond in the rough. And if it's better to be underrated than overrated. And Bill Hicks is one of the best comedians to ever live. And he was not famous at all when he died, except for in England. He was famous in England, but that's a different country. In his own country, he could barely even get on Letterman. Like, he got on Letterman and they scrubbed his set. It was too controversial or something bullshit like that. And meanwhile, after he's dead, 10 years after he dies is when he starts to get famous. It's like, dude, that's all I need to know about stand-up comedy. So, and one of my most favorite funny people in the world, nobody talks about, like Sam Hyde. He's hilarious. And he got banned from, Adult Swim. Yeah, so it's just... Andrew Schultz, he's doing very well right now. He's one of the most successful comics today. And he's pretty controversial. But he's peaking, dude. It's like, I don't know, like as soon as somebody has a huge audience, that's when I stop paying attention because, oh, okay, you have enough people that like you. You don't need me to prop you up. It's like, he's funny. He's not the funniest. He's not even close. Yeah, I forgot. Sam Hyde, he's funny. Gavin McInnes, he's one of the funniest people in the world. Nobody talks about him. Anyway, so enough ranting about art, about being a comedian, because I'm not really even it's in my blood, it's in my soul. Like, I totally relate to the pursuit of being a stand-up comedian, just saying whatever you think is funny and trying to get a laugh. That is a beautiful thing to dedicate your life to. And Ari Shaffir, he's super controversial. He got in a lot of trouble, so-called trouble, for saying that he was happy. He did a joke about Kobe Bryant the day he died, making fun of him for dying, and he was joking. And it's one of the most offensive jokes you could possibly make. But it's a joke. So he gets it. He's cool. I met him once before, like a few years ago. He's nice. It's just like as mean as he has fangs online. Like, he's an insult comic. But when you're, he's just a regular dude too. He's just a dude that you could smoke weed with, and he'll pass you the bowl. He's not going to be a dick and like bogart it, and like, it's like, I was like, hey, can you hold this while I pack a bowl? He's like, yeah. And then he held my weed or something. He looked at it. I was like, isn't it kind of cool that somebody I look up to is just like, I gave him a task. Like, I gave him an order. Like, can you hold this for me? Because comics are all the same. We're just people that are very, like, non-judgmental. I mean, the good ones. We have good souls, and why would we be mean to somebody for no reason? Dude. So there's something to be learned from that. I don't know. So enough about that. Enough about comedy. I'm not doing it right now. Right now I'm pissed. I was so pissed before I started recording, but now I feel better just because I ranted about feminism. But before that, I was pissed because I got this race car that I bought. It's a Tesla Model S Plaid. It's like the fastest car in the world. And it's ridiculous, and I knew it would be stupid to buy it, but I bought it for my birthday. Just like, oh, don't have the other one anymore. Let's buy the best one that they sell. And so I got it, and of course it's ridiculous, and it's slow it's like scary. I hate driving it because I'm always afraid of getting into any sort of fender bender or scraping the paint, because it's really overpowered and underbraked. And like, so if you need to brake in an emergent, like if you don't have time, oh man, is that sketchy territory. The brakes are not powerful enough to stop that missile of a spaceship as it's going down the road. You could be going 90 and it feels like nothing. It's smooth, it's quiet, you don't hear any noise from the road. So you just looked up, so, oh shit, I'm going 90. It's like, okay, I guess I should slow down a little bit. So it's that type of car. And I hate it. But I'm not gonna like sell it. I'll sell it maybe in a couple months when the novelty wears off or something. When something happens, I'll probably sell it. So it's just too nice of a car to own unless you are like a multi-millionaire and you could just like, oh yeah, whatever, I could just buy a new one. That's just one of my many cars. But no, if that's your only car, it's almost like not having a car because you're not going to want to bring it anywhere, especially in shitty Austin, Texas. A bunch of freaking jack-offs throwing lit cigarettes out their windows like, fuck, and like, throwing debris, like popsicle sticks. It's like, I don't want that on my car, my windshield. And you got gravel being kicked up. Had to get the paint job protected. Had to get this special film installed over the paint. I got it ceramic coated. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? But I got it because it's like too nice of a paint job and it's too expensive to. And it's okay, so I added money on top of what it already cost, which is almost as much as a house. So I don't want to go anywhere with that thing. It's like, I'm not driving that to Dirty freaking 6, the most disgusting part of Austin where everything cool happens. It's like, great, so now what? I have to worry about this thing? Even in a parking garage, I would still worry about it. I drove it into a parking garage, and it was too narrow going up the ramp, like that spiral ramps that they have in parking garages. Because as soon as I was leaving, I was like, okay, I hope another car is not coming from the opposite direction, because that'd be sketchy if they don't see me, if they're not prepared, if they're not perfectly in their lane. And of course, that's what happened. So I had to like stop and wait for them to maneuver around me. It's like, fuck, dude. So I had to get another car. I had to solve the problem by getting a second car, a backup car. Because people can't drive here. They're like, and I'm not leaving it on the street. So the race car, the supercar, is in my garage. And I don't like big cars. So I got a new car. I got a sports car. It's a very small, sexy car, and it's a fraction. It's still a pretty, like, not cheap car. It's like $30-something thousand, but compared to the Tesla, that's a potato chip. That's nothing. That's like, what, 20% of the cost of the Model S, whatever, MSP. Oh, man. So I just got it. I drove. I knew which one I want. I did some research on small, sporty coupes. And what would that be? A Mazda Miata. So that's what I got. I'm a Miata guy now. I'm one of those assholes. I'm a dude driving a chick car, and it's beautiful, dude. So I decided I wanted one of those, and I looked it up. Where's the closest one? What model should I get? They're not making them that much anymore, and there's no 22 model announced, you know. So I was like, okay, let's go get it. Guess I'm gonna get a 2021. So I researched where to get one. There's not very many in stock. So I had to drive to San Antonio. And this dealership didn't really, not the most professional dealership, because I made an inquiry online to see if it was still available. They sent me an email back the next day, but the information in the email was not filled out. It just said, hey, customer name. We see that you're interested in the insert model car here. It's like, you don't even have a working customer service retention, like whatever it's called, email systems. And they did leave a voicemail on my phone. So a couple days go by when I was actually ready to go test drive it, which was today, the day before Thanksgiving. I called them back, the same number that they called me from, and I said, yeah, I'm interested in the MXP or MX5. That's what it is, MX5. And they're like, what? I was like, okay, Miata. It's a Miata RF. That's another way to say it. And they're like, okay, one sec. And it's like, dude, you don't even know what the hell you're selling. You don't even know the vehicle's model of the thing that you sell? Did I get the wrong number? But of course, I'm such a passive dude. I was like, okay. And then I heard him talking to the coworkers. Hey, this guy was wondering about a MX5. And like I heard him. I was like, fuck this guy. What a jerk off. Doesn't even know what he's selling at his own dealership, and then says, this guy. It's like, you can't be more professional. It's like, hey, I have somebody. All you have to say is, I have somebody. You don't have to say guy. Like, I'm just some guy. No, I'm somebody who's about to spend over $30 goddamn thousand on a car. So they had to transfer me to like two different people before I could talk to somebody who actually knew what the hell they were talking about. And this was the number of the specific dealership that I was going to. It was a 210 area code, San Antonio. So I talked to this dude. Yeah, you could come by whenever. And I was like, okay. So I drove to San Antonio. A very fun drive. When you're driving to look at a new car, yeah, it's kind of hard to be in a bad mood, even though the traffic was not great. And it took about an hour and a half. Not bad. I was in a jolly mood. So I got to the dealership. As soon as I got out of the... Because dude, you know how freaking badass it feels to show up to a dealership in a fancier car than they sell, in a car that costs way more than the one that you're there to buy. So they approached me like, what the hell? Like, you want to buy something from us? What? And I was like, yeah, dude, fuck that thing. That thing's big. But no, that's all they wanted to talk about, dude. All they wanted to talk about was the Tesla. Even the people that don't sell Teslas, I was like, not there to buy I was there to buy a Miata. A way slower car. And they're like, yeah, here it is. It was right there in the middle of the floor. It was beautiful. It's the only car they had. The whole dealership. Everything else was just used. They had like a few used cars in the parking lot, but on the showroom, nothing. Just that one little Miata that I was there to buy. You know how fucking cool I felt? So I get there and then we go for the test drive. And I did not know how to drive the thing. Because there was a convertible and there's like a big blind spot because there's only 2 seats and there's not like a big window in the back. So you just have to kind of hope that there's no one behind you. I don't know. I have to get used to that. I've only driven it once so far and I didn't know what I was doing. I was not used to the idling, like how it just creeps if you're not pressing down on the brake. I was not used to that. Teslas don't do that. So I almost crashed the thing on the test drive. I didn't really almost crash it, but there were some sketchy moments because I had to switch lanes. He was like, at your earliest convenience, switch lanes. I was like, okay, I guess that means right now. So I looked over and saw that there was a car coming, and I thought I could make it. I floored the thing. I opened up the throttle. But that thing has no acceleration compared to the Tesla. So I was like, yep, nope, I'm not going to be able to make it. So I had to get back. I had to abort the lane change. That shit would never happen in a Tesla, you would never have to abort a lane change unless somebody is driving into the same lane that you're trying to get into, which could very well happen. But you never have to worry about speed. Somebody could be barreling down the road at 90 miles an hour, and you could be like, yeah, fuck you, and then just zip past them without them even having to slow down. Trucks love me. Semi-trucks love when I'm driving in front of them or wherever the fuck, because I always give them enough space. I never have to slow them down. I just go like a UFO. They don't even know what the hell hit them. What was that flash of light that just zipped past me? It's like, yeah, that's right. You don't have to worry about me. And if I'm passing a truck, I always go pretty fast. I don't like linger, because no truck driver wants a stupid car to the side of them or behind them or anywhere for that matter. In front of them, obviously you don't want to cut in front of a truck. So this new sports car, it's adorable compared to the Tesla. It has no acceleration. It goes 0 to 60 in 6.6 seconds. So it's a granny mobile if you're talking acceleration. If you're talking handling and, pep, nimbleness, then it's awesome. Then that's what I wanted. I wanted a tiny car that's sexy and fits into any space you need it like a glove. So that's where I got the Miata. And so I don't have to worry about parking. You could park like a dick and you're still within the lines. So I did not think I was going to go home with a new car. When I went there, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to test drive it and start the process for financing. That was my only goal. I didn't think I was actually going to have it on my driveway the same day. But the sales guy was very nice. He was like, yeah, I could drive it to Austin. I got a Miata myself. I love driving Miatas. I will happily drive that thing to your house from San Antonio. 80 miles. And I was like, oh, not going to say no to that. So he drove it all the way back. And I got a financing deal. I got a loan. It's not the best loan. I could have done way better if I tried. But it's reasonable considering how little I tried. So I got the loan, and we drove it all the way back to my house. He had somebody drive with him, not with him, in a different car. So we had 3 cars went back to my house, all the way from San Antonio. Me and my Tesla, the sales guy in the Miata, and this other dude in an SUV. So it was a fleet. It was just an escort mission, and it was badass because I was driving I was following it, and we were pretty much following each other the whole way, and it looked so sexy on the road. And I was like, not only am I driving a spaceship, I'm looking at this car in front of me just weaving into traffic, and it's also my car. So I felt like a billionaire, dude. I felt like I don't know, man. I'm just saying, dude. It doesn't get much better than this. Being however old I am, there's 50-year-olds who have never had that experience. It's like, there's my second vehicle just zipping in the fast lane, just looking sexy. Oh, and it's also mine. Yeah. Holy shit. So he just parked it on my driveway. I tipped him a lot of money. I gave him more money than it would have cost to get a tow truck to drive it, because that's just something that I wasn't expecting. And, of course, I'm going to tip him. He wasn't expecting it. He was willing to do it for free. And somebody, he had a ride home. So that was quite an exciting experience. and it's just sitting on my driveway. Doesn't fit in the garage. I can't fit 2 cars in that stupid 2-car garage. And I was telling this to the dealership. They were like, I was like, yeah, I can't even park it in my garage. They're like, yeah, it's a 2-car garage. I'm like, yeah, but it's a shitty one. So I have to park it on the driveway, which is not fun because it is a nice car. I mean, you know, dude, it's new. So, but it's a backup car. So, you know, it's not, you know, so for me, it's like, yeah, it's just a Miata. I don't have to drive it indoors, but I wish I could. So I'm going to have to get a cover for it. I don't know, man. It's just something to complain about. And also, it's a gasoline vehicle, so I don't care about the environment, obviously. I've never owned a gasoline ICE car. I'm not super like stoked on that fact, but hey, at least it makes noise when you're pressing down. Like, that's cool. I like that you actually have to start it. I don't know. It's way more steps involved. You have to start it. You can't just walk away. Like Teslas, you don't even have to worry about it. You just get out the car and it just turns off on its own. You don't have to do anything. Just unlock. Everything is just seamless. With a Tesla, with this Miata, it's like definitely a super different experience. And I was like, it was so different. Like the acceleration, like just being like pressing, like flooring it and being like, well, I'm waiting. When does it go? With the Tesla, holy shit, does that spoil you? Holy shit, am I spoiled? But you can't let the excitement get to you, dude, because I could have got a better loan. Like, I was excited by the fact that I was going to go home with a car. So I was just, like, pretty giddy and didn't really think over the loan application that much. They came back with an interest rate that I was like, yeah, that's acceptable, but they didn't know what the hell they were doing because I don't have any other loans. I could have, like, they were like, hey, you have another loan open. I was like, yeah, I don't actually, but it's in the process of being paid off, so I guess technically I do, but I don't. And he was like, how old are you? I was like, 32, motherfucker. He was like, so you have a young credit history, right? I was like, pretty sure I've had a credit card since I was 18, but yeah, sure, I have a young credit rate. He's like, yeah, that's why we got this. That's what best we could do. I pulled some strings. I was like, sure, yeah, whatever you say. Yeah, you pulled some strings, even though that's not the best deal at all, but sure. So I got the loan. Everything's good. I got the car's registered. It's a super easy process compared to getting a Tesla, where I have to register it myself. It's like, fuck you, Elon. No, dude. Impulse purchase. No, it was not an impulsive decision. It's just, so it's only 2 doors, dude. So I don't have to worry about driving anyone around unless they're a hot chick. It's like, oh, can I get a ride from you? It's like, oh, well, first of all, it's only a 2-door, so it'd be only you. And also, how much do you weigh? Because this thing, it kind of doesn't have a lot of power. So if you weigh more than 2 hundo, it's going to be lopsided and it's going to be unsafe. So sorry, brother. Sorry, unless you got a pair of juicy D cups. That's the only extra weight I'm willing to take on this sexy motherfucker. So I'm one of those assholes now. And also, you know, I was kind of pissed off about the loan, about how I just kind of got suckered into accepting a loan without really thinking about if it was the best I could get. But, you know, at the end of it, it's not a big deal. But I did learn the hard way that you should really, you know, try to get a better deal. And the car itself, I could have asked for them to shave off a little bit of the sticker price, because it did have a little scratch on the rim, which I totally noticed right after the test drive. I didn't do it. I got out of the car. I saw this scratch on the rim. I was like, I didn't do that. And I was like, can you buff it out? It was like, yeah, well, yeah, if you make an appointment. I was like, yeah, but I should have asked for like a couple $100 off the sticker price. I should have done that. But whatever. At least they will fix it for free. So it's not the Not a big deal. Whatever. Life is good. It's just another thing that I have to worry about getting stolen. That's why you have a gun.